right, so I'm going to read your exit ticket to you. Today is just this exit ticket. You're going to read this passage, and then we talked about how strong readers, they zoom in to find repeating ideas over and over, and then zoom out, and usually that will lead to an overall idea, which is the main idea of what the text is mostly about. So that's what we're going to work on today. Read along with me as I read to you. It says horseshoes. For hundreds of years, horses, mules, and even oxen have been shod with iron shoes. A horseshoe is usually shaped like a U and forged to fit the horse's hoof. A mule shoe is similar, but longer and narrower, since that's the shape of the mule's hoof. Because the oxen has 2 toes instead of 1, it must have 2 shoes for each foot, a left and a right. These animals never wore shoes when they were in the wild, so why is it necessary now? There are several answers. Before the animals were domesticated, they didn't have to carry heavy loads on their backs, such as a knight in full armor and weapons weighing 400 or 500 pounds. Nor were they asked to pull heavy loads, like a wagon load of hay weighing several tons. And when they roamed free, they didn't travel miles on hard roads and wear down hoofs. Shoes are necessary then to protect the animal's feet and to provide better traction when pulling loads. Before the days of automobiles and 18-wheeled trucks, horses were used to transport people and goods. Teams of 4 or 6 large horses pulled stagecoaches and heavy freight wagons. Horses, mules, and oxen were used on farms to plow fields and harvest crops. In cities and towns, horses pulled milk wagons and bread wagons through the streets. With so many hoofs needing shoes, blacksmith shops were everywhere. The blacksmiths with his forge and anvil did all kinds of work with iron. He made and repaired implements for farms and home. He also made horses and horseshoes and nailed them on horses' feet. People would bring their horses to the blacksmith shop to have them fitted with new shoes. Because horses' hoofs grow, much like our fingernails, the horses needed to have their hooves trimmed and their shoes refitted about every 2 months. Children gathered at the blacksmith shop to watch the smith as he placed an iron bar in the coal of his forge and pumped the bellows until the iron was red hot. Using tongs, he took the hot iron from the fire and held it on the anvil. As the smith hit the iron with his heavy hammer, the anvil rang like a bell, and sparks flew like fireworks. When the shoe was properly shaped, the smith plunged into a tub of water. The hot iron sizzled and steamed as it hit the cold water. Today, many farmers use modern tractors instead of horses or mules. However, people still own horses. Most horses are no longer the heavy draft horse of the past, but lighter breeds used for pleasure riding. Horse shows, jumping events, rodeos, and trail riding are popular sports. And horses who take part in these activities still need shoes. Just as athletes need specialized footwear, horses need the right shoes to do their job as well. After all, they are athletes too. Horses wear flat, lightweight shoes called racing plates. Horses that have to use paved roads wear special shoes that prevent slipping. All right, on the back side, I want you to zoom out. What was the text mostly about? So what were those words, those repeating ideas that you underlined that were repeated again and again? Again, if you didn't underline anything, go back, reread, look for the words and the ideas that were repeated again and again, and then zoom out, and that will show you what the text was mostly about, okay? And then think of your own idea first, okay? So whatever you wrote up here, I want you to find a similar main idea. If it wasn't in here, then maybe you need to go back and rethink. But what was the main idea of the text? A, Before the days of automobiles, horses and mules did not need horseshoes. B, before the days of automobiles, horses and mules did many jobs. C, people would not have survived without horses. D, people would have to work much harder without horses. So think about what that main idea is and circle it.